Right, so some interesting developments and news happened while I was asleep. So I don't live in America. I don't get the news that America gets when they get it. Well, I do, but the news that comes when an American audience will be able to, ride the coattails of that news and talk about it, happens about 3 or 4 hours before I wake up in the morning. So, with that being said, over the course of the night, Crystal Dynamics was sold from, or was bought from Square Enix by a group called Embracer Group. And what I want to talk about today is what I think this means for Marvel's Avengers, specifically. I mean, it affects a lot of games. It affects Tomb Raider. It affects Guardians as well, somewhat, even though that's a single-player game. I guess it affects whether that game gets DLC or not. But I want to talk about how this affects Marvel's Avengers, because that's the game that I play, the one that I make content on. So I'm gonna talk about it, and I want to come in here and I want to be a bit more positive than most of the other content creators that I've watched say stuff about this, because most of it is Marvel's Avengers is officially dead now, and this is the end, and we're not getting anything after this, and what you thought was coming won't come. Instead, the end is nigh. I don't believe that that's the case. This may just be my optimism showing through, and this might be me being a bit of a naive prick about things. But my opinion, I'm going to talk about the worst case scenario first. Worst case scenario is that Embracer Group goes to Disney, goes to Marvel, and is like, can we continue putting work and money and resources into this game? And Disney and Marvel says no. They say, no, we're not getting enough residuals, enough money from this, that it's not worth putting time into. Just scrap it. That's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is Marvel's Avengers is done. We get 2.4, we get Jane, and then that's it. And we kind of go out with this like really wet fart of a content drop. Really, it's less of a going out with a bang, and it's more like pulsing on the floor in pain. Just wishing for it to end. And that's what the last few months has felt like for me. But my hope, my fingers crossed, this is the best case scenario, is Embracer Group goes to Disney and goes to Marvel, and they're like, Marvel's Avengers, what do we do? And Disney and Marvel are like, right, this game isn't doing well financially. You have a year from today to make this. You have a year to make this game make money. Essentially, you have a year to fix this game, or to make this game something that gives us money, cash moolah. That's the best case scenario. The best case scenario is that Embracer Group, Crystal Dynamics, the best case scenario is that they get a time limit to basically fix the game, and that means that they will put all of their man hours into making hype content to bring eyes in. And, all the stuff that they're working on, and all the stuff that, has been in development for the last half a year or year in Xbox case, will come out, if not earlier, more polished, and we get that kind of No Man's Sky-esque resurgence and new lease on life for Marvel's Avengers. So that's kind of my hope. What I think will happen, what is more than likely going to be the case, is that Embracer Group gets told by Disney, right, you can continue Marvel's Avengers, and whatever happens to it, you're in control. You have the rights to use our characters, go ham, but like, I don't think they're going to be like, we want this thing to make money. I don't think they care that much about this video game and what happens with it, and that's just my thought. They're not going to care that this gaming company that no one's heard of has bought the rights to their game. I don't think they're going to care about that, as long as it's not an utter shit show. And they're going to look at what Square Enix has done, and they're going to be like, that was an utter shit show. And they still let them go on with it for a while. So I think, I honestly don't expect Disney or Marvel to say no. I don't think they're going to pull the plug on Marvel's Avengers quite yet. I think they will give Embracer Group a year at least. They're going to give them time to see if they can breathe life into this game, and they're going to see what they can do with it. And at the end of the day, I don't think Disney or Marvel care that much about how well this game does, as long as they have something that Marvel fans always have their eye on that isn't a comic book, that's going to give them more money than the comic book industry. Because the comic book industry isn't printing money. The movies are printing money. Because at the end of the day, Marvel's Avengers doesn't print money. It doesn't. Whether that's because it was a buggy mess when it came out, whether that's because it still is kind of a buggy mess. If you tune into my streams, you know that the most recent ones have been buggy, and this is after the copious amounts of fixes that have gone on that CD has done, and the big patch that fixed a load of issues. There's still problems, and I think that's the main reason why people don't stay. The lack of content and the lack of interesting characters doesn't help, I think, and Spider-Man being PS4 exclusive doesn't help either, because it means that the other consoles feel alienated and there's this favoritism, when in reality Spider-Man isn't that great anyway. But it would just be nice if every console had every character. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about, Crystal Dynamics being sold. And the best case scenario is we get our refresh. We get our new lease on life for Marvel's Avengers. We get our No Man's Sky style update, our Final Fantasy XIV style update, and this game is saved, and it turns into what we all wanted it to be when it came out. I mean, it's not going to be that, because they can't change it from being a, an RPG style games as a service thing. They can't change that now, but they can make it a damn good games as a service game. But the worst case scenario is the game's dead. I do not see the worst case scenario being the scenario that we end up with in real life, in reality. I don't see that being the case. It's just not. I don't think that's something that we can really look at, even when Embracer Group did their press conference about all of the IPs that they bought, they said themselves, we expect Disney and we expect Marvel and we expect the IP holders to essentially say yes. We expect them to be more than willing to let us play in their playground, essentially. And that's my opinion as well. I think that Disney and Marvel will be more than happy to have another publisher take the reins of this game. And the fact that Square Enix sold it for what is not a very big amount of money in the gaming sphere. I don't know if 300 grand is a big amount of money for like a gaming thing when we have streamers being offered like $1 million $1 million contract to do one stream on a certain platform. And then we see like these big gaming companies. Well, I don't know how big Square Enix is massive, by the way. But this relatively unknown, I don't know what Embracer Group has done before. I've never heard of them before this piece of news came out. But I personally think, and I'm 100% ready to take the fall on this, because me being the naive optimist that I am, I'm always going to look at something like this and think of what the best case scenario is going to be. And for me, that is we get a major refresh, a major update, and this game becomes what we all want it to be. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I do think this game is going to keep plodding along at the pace that it has, maybe a bit quicker because hopefully Embracer Group embraces that this is a really good IP that they can do a lot with, and I think that they're going to look at this game and they're going to think, what the fuck was Square Enix doing? We have all these characters, we have all of this world to really look into, and I know that's CD's job, but Embracer Group as the publisher, they can be like, right, kick up the backside, we need to have content coming out every month. It's a games as a service game, give them the service, But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you agree with what I said in the video, let me know in the comments below. If you think Marvel's Avengers is going to die and have been waiting for it to die since it came out, let me know in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys on stream tonight. Probably going to take a break from Avengers because of, you can only play the same content for so long before it gets boring. So I'm going to go back to Kingdom Hearts because, Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys on stream. Peace.